Hi everyone, my name is Jewel Paguni, and I am about to welcome the fabulous, the most amazing Jake Pisarski. Woo! Come on out! How you doing?
Good, thank you for having me.
Anytime. Anyways.
So what are we here for today?
Well, we just graduated college,
We
and
did.
this is legit crazy.
It is crazy.
Like, we're adults.
We're on the precipice of life.
I know. But I also think it's like a really good moment for us to reflect and
Right, yeah.
also like, damn, like we made it.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like we've both had pretty successful
Yeah.
wild experiences. But
Talk
very
about
different
wild.
experiences.
Very different,
Yeah.
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 Well, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first? Like, what do you want to do?
Well, let's introduce the topic first.
Okay, so today we're gonna be talking about basically like what we've learned from college, and then talk about next steps maybe. But yeah, mostly about like what we've learned.
Why is
Very
this
reflective.
so sticky?
Oh no, is that my honey? Aww. That's totally not gross. Like, that's really good honey.
Bittersweet
I swear.
times.
Bittersweet times. Cheers. Okay. What did we learn from college? Because that was a lot.
Do you want like broad lessons, like life lessons, or like calculus? You know.
I think what lesson did you learn that's really shaped who you are? Like, what do you think is one of the biggest lessons?
Right. What do you say?
Okay. I think the biggest lesson I've learned is that you need to be your biggest cheerleader, like your own biggest cheerleader. Because sometimes there are times where you'll want something and you just won't have people on your side, or you're waiting for someone to be like, you can do it, but really the person that needs to tell you that you can do it is yourself. And just by like, just a lot of like, I've just taken like a lot of risks in college. Like, I mean, try to start my own startup, you know?
Did.
I did. You're
You
right.
did.
Create my own company. And I can't, if I could have a penny for every single person, I was like, that's a little too much or a little too extra. That's another thing I learned. There's no such thing as being too extra. Be you, baby. Be you. But if I was,
this.
yeah, that's
What
the
is
quote.
What is this?
So basically, so this is a quote from me.
Let's read it to the fans.
And I said,
Some
go ahead and read it.
some people ask, why are you so confident? I just say,
Y'all need to get on my level. Bye.
Jewel Paguni.
But that's a quote I ever saw for a year. And I think that's just overall, that's like a perfect way to summarize like what I've learned. But just know that in the end of the day, you're always going to have doubters, but you also will have supporters. But the biggest thing is make sure you're the one that's supporting yourself. And I know it's hard. Like, not everyone just wakes up and then they're confident. Like, I wasn't always like, woo, look at me. But it is something where you can start accepting yourself for everything. And that's not just for your successes, but for your failures, your imperfections. Loving yourself is the first step for really being your own cheerleader. And that's really what college has taught me, is no matter what, be your own cheerleader and you can get through anything. Yeah.
so what do you say to the people out there? What's the first step they can take to loving themselves or to doing that? What small things can they change in their lives?
So it's definitely going down the route of introspection. I think the hardest part about loving yourself is loving your imperfections. And in order to love your imperfections, you gotta first find your imperfections, okay? And let me tell you something, no one's perfect, okay? But the first step is addressing like who you are. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I think that's the first step. Is as crazy, or I don't even know if it's crazy, but sometimes it really is like actually like talking to yourself. But I think the first thing is like, okay, hi, my name is this is me, and like introducing yourself to yourself is something I like to do on the daily. Okay, is that kind of crazy? It's fine, it's fine.
No, it's cool.
No, I think that like that's the first step, is like really recognizing who you are, the next step I want to say though is like in terms of loving yourself, again, be reflective on the people in your life, because when you surround yourself with people who can support you as much as you start supporting yourself, like the people you surround yourself is a good reflection of how you see yourself. So really focus on you and how you feel about yourself, and what doesn't make you feel good. Address that. You know what I mean? And understand that it's okay that, like, again, we have imperfections, but like addressing that and understanding like that's part of you, which is great. But also look at your circle, or if you don't have a circle, it's fine. You don't need a circle. I'm sorry, I might start rambling. But like, again, address your relationships, and if they're like, keep the healthy ones, remove the other ones. I call it spring cleaning. It's like gotta do some spring cleaning, remove the bad energy. But again, it's just a lot of introspection. If you don't know what introspection is the act of actually just reflecting on your actions and how you feel about yourself. But that's the first step, is addressing who you are with yourself. Yeah. I hope that was clear.
Yeah, that was very insightful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something that's helped me, actually, to be honest.
No, I feel like that's like, introspection is a big part of how I have grown.
Yeah.
I feel like I do a lot of time. Sometimes I introspect a little too much. And I'm like thinking, I'm hyper thinking about like
like
really
overthinking.
detail, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not that serious. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and I think that's it. Oh, it's so hard because there's always that line between thinking a lot and then like overthinking.
mm-hmm.
And I think my metric for figuring out when I'm overthinking is like when I start becoming afraid of doing things that I normally would be okay with doing things, right? So let's say like you're overthinking about like, oh, I really hope this is everybody. I've had some, happy juice, so I'm just trying to make sure everything is concise. But I think like one of my metrics for like if I'm overthinking is when I start doubting myself, because you want to be introspective to grow yourself, to uplift yourself.
Right.
But when you're doing like, oh no, but can I actually do it? You're going too deep.
Right.
You're going too deep.
You know, this idea of like the fine line, like the
Mm-hmm.
perfect spot, that's like one of my biggest lessons from college has been like kind of like everything is on this like spectrum of like it's kind of like I think there's like the Aristotelian philosophy of like the golden mean. So like everything is like on a thing of like so there's like cowardice on one side, and then there's cowardice, and if you get more brave, if you're way too brave, you get reckless. But the middle point is being like brave and being thoughtful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think everything exists on like some sort of spectrum. You can't be too nice in life, you can't be too mean. You can't be too introspective, you can't be like not introspective enough. I think everything is like, everything we do is trying to find that like virtuous middle ground. You know what I mean?
And I agree with Jake. I agree with him. It's not always easy, but it is something that we all should try to like work on,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And definitely like it's not as easy as like we want it to be. I feel like we inherently want like an answer, like this is what you have to do, but nothing in life is that concrete.
That's true.
It's annoying.
It's annoying, but again, it's the struggle and the journey that makes it all worth it. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. I hope I'm not being broad, but life is not easy. People in your life come and go.
They do.
They do, and that's another thing I learned. It's okay if relationships change in any kind of context.
Right.
Because we change as people. And I think that's another thing I learned in college is like, it can be hurtful when like relationships end, no matter like what kind, like friendships, romantic, whatever, mentorship. But it's okay because it really it's part of growing up. I think growing pains, that all falls under the umbrella of growing pains, and that's something that we experience, especially towards like the end of
growing
college.
up fucking hurts.
It hurts.
It does.
You all need to listen to Growing Pains by Alessia Cara. I love it.
And Ribs by Lord.
Oh, yes.
It's another one.
Lord is on. Wait, what's the name of the song?
Ribs.
I've listened. Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole album.
Yeah.
Lord got me through some stuff.
You know, so here's my biggest life lesson,
Yeah,
especially
yeah,
of the last like few months.
Yeah.
And I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts on it.
Uh-huh.
So
I'm excited.
I feel like I've been learning a lot. That one of the things I have done a lot in college, community college, and high school, is that I have put so much of my energy into schoolwork or all these things that are like structural expectations of us as students, and very much neglected giving my energy to relationships and stuff as much as I could have. You know, sometimes that's not the truth. Sometimes I did, you know, fall in love and let my schoolwork fall wayside. You know what I mean? But I think I've struggled with like finding a good balance there. You know, and I think at the end of the day, and kind of hearing from people that are older than us, I feel like a lot of people say that the relationships are what matters at the end of the day. Like you hear like CEOs, billionaires,
And a lot
like
of
Larry Geese, you know, who spoke at our graduation, talking about how like at the end of the day, like it's their like loved ones that matter. You know what I mean? And so like we spend so much time like worrying about schoolwork, but at the end of the day, like it's the friends we made here.
It is, and I can say from like the opposite end where when you don't prioritize the relationships, it can be really lonely.
Yeah,
Like really,
that's so
really
true.
lonely.